listening to Cool FM. Cool FM is a TVH Group of Networks radio station. Tondo's greatest hits are here. You are listening to Cool FM. Live from Cool Studios. This is Cool News at 11.
Good morning, and this is Cool News at 11 a.m. I am Aster, and now let's get into the headlines. Police seized 340,000 pesos worth of shabu from two suspected drug traffickers arrested on Monday in Batangas City. The Region 4A police reported that members of the Provincial Police Drug Enforcement Unit and local cops held Christopher and Melchard at 10:05 p.m. after they sold 100,000 pesos worth of shabu to an undercover cop in Barangay Alangilan. The suspects were found in alleged possession of one plastic sachet containing suspected shabu weighing 50 grams. The operatives also seized a mobile phone from the suspects to be examined for drug transactions. A motorcycle believed to have been used by the suspects in their illegal activities was also confiscated. Police tagged Christopher as a high-value individual in the local drug trade, while Melchard was a street-level foot pusher. The police are conducting further investigations to determine the source of the illegal drugs. Both suspects are under police custody and will face a charge of violating the Comprehensive Dangerous Acts of 2002. In related news, three Chinese men arrested Monday by the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency yielded some 3,400 pesos worth of shabu in the sting operation in Balibago village in the city. The BDEA Region 3 report on Tuesday, July 2 said the bypass occurred at 10:50 p.m. at the Shanghai building along Mat-Akur Highway. BDEA identified the arrested as Binda, age of 23, Li Xiao, and Gua Xiao, both are age 20. According to the team leader, the suspects were extremely circumspect while transacting and took them a month to arrange a drug deal with the suspects, the BDA Region 3 said, quoting the operations team leader. Aside from some half a kilo of suspected shabu, the trio also allegedly yielded 7 assorted mobile phones, car keys, and the money used by the poster buyer. The suspects will face charges of violating the Comprehensive Dangerous Acts of 2002, the agency added. The Philippine government has denounced the recent ballistic missile launch by the Democratic People's Republic of China, also known as North Korea. A statement from the Department of Foreign Affairs on Tuesday said the launch on July 1 provokes tensions and undermines economic progress, peace, and stability in the Korean Peninsula and the Indo-Pacific region. The Philippines has repeatedly called on the DPRK to also comply with its international obligations and the relevant UN or United Nations Security Council resolutions and to commit to constructive and peaceful dialogue with the Republic of Korea, it added. The DFA further said the country has consistently supported the call for the complete, verifiable, and irreversible denuclearization of the DPRK. An Associated Press report dated July 1 said the missiles were launched 10 minutes apart in the northeasterly direction from the town of Jongyong in southeastern North Korea. These events came 2 days after the United States, Japan, and South Korea concluded their new trilateral drills in the region, it added. Certain measures which could help elevate tensions in the West Philippine Sea are already being tackled in the Senate, said senators on Tuesday. Senate President Francis Escudero said these measures include the Maritime Zones Act and the Philippine Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act. What we are taking up are bills, maritime and sea lanes that seek to strengthen our legal claim and position on the West Philippine Sea vis-a-vis other claimant countries and bills that seek to strengthen our armed forces to be a deterrent, Escudero told reporters. The Maritime Zones Act specifies the rights and entitlements of Filipinos over the country's maritime zones, including underwater features. It has been ratified by Congress, but was recalled by the House of Representatives in May for further refinement. The Philippine Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act, on the other hand, seeks the creation of a system of sea lanes along the country's waters by connecting the coordinates of several access lines. It is among the bills of the Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council declared a priority for passage by June 2025. Escudero, however, said that the easing of tensions in the West Philippine Sea would still depend on the action intuitive of the executive branches of both the the Philippines and China, given that the head of state is the chief architect of the country's foreign policy. Meanwhile, Senator Lauren Lagarda said the Blue Economic Act could also elevate tensions in the disputed waters. She explained that unlike other economic measures, the Blue Economic Act takes into account the science of ocean management to get more out of the ocean accounts and for longer. By using blue bonds, understanding ocean processes, and implementing holistic and sustainable policies, we can reduce tensions in our EEZ exclusive economic zone through business and partnerships, Lagarda said. Senate Minority Leader Aquino Coco Pimentel III, for his part, stressed the need for legislation which can help develop our diplomatic skills and prowess, as well as funding for the Department of Foreign Affairs. Both the Philippines and China have been embroiled in a territorial dispute after the latter claimed the majority of the South China Sea, including the West Philippine Sea, through its so-called 10-line. China's claim, however, have been effectively invalidated by a July 2016 International Tribunal ruling that stemmed from a case filed by Manila in 2013. Despite this, China has continued encroaching Philippine waters, continuing its aggression and militarization even in areas of the Philippines territory in the West Philippine Sea. Running for president in 2028 is not yet part of her plan, according to Senator Risa Hontiveros. What she is certain for now is that the opposition would fill its own senator beds in the 2025 midterm elections and probably a full slate in 2028. Hontiveros made this decision or declaration on Tuesday when categorically asked over ANC's Head Start if she is considering running for president in 2028. I am not considering running yet, but what I am 100% considering is that the opposition will run candidates for president, vice president, and across the line, she said. Yung trabaho ko, that's what I'm working on the last 2 years, and we will continue to work on it until next year's midterms and the next 4 years until 2028, the senator added. By 2027, Hontiveros expressed hopes they could be in a position of strength to field their own candidates, whether an opposition, coalition, an independent group, or a different name. But we will be something different and something better para sa ating mga kakabayan. Yung ma-assure ko sa'yo 100%, she added. But we will be something different and something better for our countrymen. That's what I can assure you 100%. In the meantime, the senator said they will announce this year their senatorial bets for next year's elections. An important announcement, quote-unquote, for the 2028 presidential polls will be made in 2027, according to Hontiveros. And Senator Sharon Kachilin has urged suspended Bambang Tarlac Mayor Alex Guo to diverge details about the masterminds of Philippine offshore gaming operations known as POGOs. He believes this act may reduce her culpability. Kachilin on Tuesday said that Guo, whose real identity is said to be Chinese Guo Huaping, should reveal crucial information about the gaming operations since she will face multiple charges. The senator explained the case's stem from her alleged involvement with the Pogo in her town and the supposed falsification of public records. I urge Alice Guo to come forward and cooperate with authorities and expose the main players of illegal and criminal offshore gaming operations, Kajilian said in the statement. To reduce her culpability, she can reveal everything she knows about the operations of both the Pampang Pogo and the Parlak Pogo, as the two are interconnected, he noted. Ngayon at maliwanag na ang tunay nilang pagkakailangang patong-patong na kaso ang maaaring isampang laban sa kanya dahil sa kanyang pagsisinungaling at panglilinlang, kaya mas may mainam na magsalita na siya, he suggested. Now that her true identity is clear, layers of cases can be filed against her because she lied and deceived the public, so it will be better if she would orally speak up. Guo has been on the hot seat after a Senate investigation revealed her alleged links to the Bambang Pogo, which was raided last March 13. Operators from various government agencies rescued 371 Filipinos and 497 foreigners from the Pogo, which was allegedly involved in human trafficking. Last May 31, the Office of the Ombudsman ordered Guo and two other Bambang town officials preventively suspended without pay while investigation on their alleged wrongdoing is ongoing. The Department of the Interior and local government moved to suspend Guo, citing the local chief executive's reported link to a Pogo to which she gave a business permit. BILG claimed Guo had business interests in Baofu Land Development Incorporated, the compound in Bamban Tarlac, where the raided Pogo is located. Baofu, as represented by Guo, who was president of the company, purchased 8 parcels of land in Bamban last February 2019. Guo claims to have divested ownership of Baofu, but the DILG believes the amount she divested for, 2.5 million pesos, was grossly incongruent to her investment on Baofu, which is approximately 8 hectares of land. Aside from the administrative reps at the Ombudsman, Guo will also face human trafficking complaints filed by the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission. For its part, the Office of the Solicitor General is looking at filing a quo warranto case against her after the National Bureau of Investigation said Guo's fingerprint matched with Guo Huapei. We will be right back for more headlines right here on koolNews at 11 a.m. It is now 11:13 in the morning. Welcome back to Cool News at 11 a.m. Let's continue with the headlines now. So let's start. How can we avoid fake medicines? The Food and Drug Administration's FDA recent discovery of counterfeit versions of commonly used over-the-counter medication has brought to light the continuing trend of fake medicines in the Philippines and elsewhere. This comes years after the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes identified the Philippines as a hotspot for falsified medicines in Southeast Asia. In May 2023, the DFA issued a new warning urging the public to be cautious when purchasing OTC medication. This comes after the discovery of counterfeit versions of Caramel S, Alaxan FR, Biogesic, Medical Advance, Bioflu, and Tusaran Forte, all manufactured by the pharmaceutical company Unilab. The World Health Organization defines counterfeit, falsified, or fake medicines or medical products as medical products that are deliberately made as fake copies of the original branded or generic drugs, imitating design, colors, and other visible features. These are usually marketed to deceive buyers about the content of what they are buying. So, counterfeit medicines include misbranded, spurious, fake, or falsely labeled products and those that do not contain what they purport to. For example, medicines in which the active ingredients are inert, are less than, more than, or different from what is indicated or have expired. They are available in both formal and informal settings, including hospitals, pharmacies, street vendors, and online marketplaces. All healthcare professionals and the generic public are hereby warned as to the availability of these counterfeit drug products in the market, which poses potential danger or injury to consumers. Consumers are also reminded to purchase drug products only from the FDA licensed establishments, the DFA said. Selling counterfeit drugs is a crime under Republic Act No. 9711, also known as the FDA Act of 2009 and RA 8203, or the special law on counterfeit drugs. Anyone caught with fake medicines could be sentenced to a minimum of 6 months and 1 day in prison. If an illness, physical injury, or suffering was worse due to the use of counterfeit drugs, the punishment for violators is imprisonment for at least 12 years to 15 years and a fine ranging from 100,000 pesos to 500,000 pesos. In case the use of counterfeit drugs results in the death of an individual who unknowingly purchased and consumed them, the penalty is life imprisonment and a fine ranging from 500,000 pesos to 5 million pesos. This kind of warning however, is not new. For years now, the Philippines has just been one of the main countries being affected by the worrying influx of counterfeit or falsified medicines entering the market and eventually ending up in the hands and inside the body of many consumers. Now we have to ask ourselves, how can we spot a fake medicine and how can we avoid them? The International Criminal Police Organization Interpol, along with the World Bank and the World Health Organization, has separately released helpful guidelines for consumers to spot fake or counterfeit medicines. According to these organizations, consumers must be observant when buying medicine. One tip is to compare the medicines they have recently bought against their usual prescriptions. So, according to Interpol, the medicine is likely fake if it contains too much, too little, or any different ingredients, claims to have different properties or side effects, has a different shape, size, piece, and or color, is not correctly labeled or not labeled at all, has an out of date or missing expiry date, does not contain information on how to store the medicine. The packaging looks poorly constructed or appears to have interfered with, and there are spelling or grammar errors on the packaging or instruction. Moreover, the public is advised to look for the lot or batch numbers of the medicines, which is essential and useful for the product's verification process. The DFA, meanwhile, reminded consumers to purchase medicine and other health products only from government licensed pharmacies and to make sure that they have the appropriate FDA marketing authorization. Consumers are also urged to report the sale of distribution of unregistered and counterfeit health products in the country. And and also the US FDA has issued a warning advising against purchasing medications from online pharmacies or websites. There are many unsafe online pharmacies that claim to sell prescription drugs at deeply discounted price, often without requiring a prescription, the US regulatory board said. These internet-based pharmacies often sell unapproved, counterfeit, or otherwise unsafe medicines outside these safeguards, followed by licensed pharmacies, it added. So, here are the things that you should be aware of according to US DFA. So, beware of online pharmacies that do not require a doctor's prescription, are not licensed by the Philippine Food and Drug Administration, do not have a licensed pharmacist on staff to answer questions, sell medicines that looks different than what you receive at your usual pharmacy, or arrives in packaging that is broken, damaged in a foreign language, has no expiration date, or is expired. Offer deep discounts or prices that seem too good to be true, and do not provide clear written protections for personal and financial information. So there you go. Let's be aware of fake medicines and do what we can do to keep ourselves protected. And now for the international headlines. Violence ranging in Drobohati is forcibly displacing one child every minute on average, with some 300,000 already affected, the United Nations Children's Agency warned on Monday. Displaced children account for more than half of the 600,000 people who have been forced to flee their homes due to violence, according to UNICEF, particularly in the capital port Au-Prince, much of which is controlled by gangs. The number of internally displaced children in Haiti has increased by an estimated 60% since March, the equivalent of one child every minute, a result of ongoing violence caused by armed groups, it said in the report. Haiti has long been rocked by gang violence, but conditions sharply worsened at the end of February when armed groups launched coordinated attacks in Port-au-Prince, saying they wanted to overthrow then Prime Minister Ariel Henry. Children in Haiti continue to endure an onslaught of multiple dangers, including horrific violence and critical levels of displacement, said UNICEF Executive Director Kathleen Rossell. The humanitarian catastrophe unfolding before our eyes is taking a devastating toll on children. Displaced children are in desperate need of a safe and protected environment and increased support and funding from the international community. When displaced children and teenagers are forced to move, often without their families, it puts them at risk of dropping out of school and making them vulnerable to sexual assault, exploitation, and abuse. Additionally, young people are increasingly joining the armed groups that sow terror in a country where 90% of the population lives in poverty and 3 million children need humanitarian aid, UNICEF warned. Kenyan police finally arrived in Haiti last month on a long-awaited international mission to help stabilize the Caribbean nation. The violence in Port-au-Prince has affected food security and humanitarian aid access, with much of the city in the hands of gangs accused of abuses including murder, rape, looting, and kidnappings. The multinational Kenyan force, greenlit last year by the UN Security Council, have been held up for months amid challenges to its deployment in Kenyan courts. And finally, this is a spicy one. U.S. President Joe Biden's son Hunter is suing right-wing Fox News for airing nude images of him in a miniseries that he claims amount to revenge porn, court documents showed Monday. The Child of Hunter Biden was made up of 6 episodes published in 2022 of Fox Nation, the conservative broadcaster's online platform owned by the family of media mogul Rupert Murdoch. Excuse me. Its contents have been secretly ever since and are the subject of widespread conspiracy territories, as well as embarrassing fodder for the political opposition. But the series integrates real images of Biden depicting him in the nude, depicting an unclothed or exposed intimate part of him, as well as engaged in sex acts, the complaint alleges. Fox published and disseminated these intimate images to its vast audience of millions as part of an entertainment program in order to intimidate, harass, annoy, and alarm Mr. Biden and to tarnish his reputation. Fox has issued a statement saying, consistent with the First Amendment, Fox News has accurately covered the newsworthy events of Mr. Biden's own making, and we look forward to vindicating our rights in court. And as well as Mr. Biden did not complain about it until sending a letter in late April 2024. The program was removed within days of the letter in an abundance of caution. And that is it for Cool News at 11 a.m. As always, we will be back later with Cool News at noon, 4 p.m., 6 p.m., and prime time at 9 p.m. Until then, I am Asper, and this has been Cool News at 11 a.m. Good morning.